Today on Carolina Week. Tensions rise on campus over the war between Israel and Hamas. We talk to both sides. And Chapel Hill is struggling with affordable housing, what the town is now doing to try to tackle the problem, and the people who say it's not enough. And the last weekend for the fair is coming up. How to make the most of your trip to the fairgrounds. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Keisha Frederick.
And I'm Kelly Kendall. On campus this week, international controversy with local consequences. Two groups on UNC's campus have now joined in on protests seen worldwide about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Our Stephen Schlink was at the protest and brings us the latest.
It was here just days ago where we watched heated exchanges and tensions on full display. Police even had to remove one person from the area as protesters chanted and called on Israel to stand down. UNC's Students for Justice in Palestine group held a rally on campus Thursday to call out what they say is injustice by Israel. The group met on the steps of Wilson Library and carried signs reading "Free Palestine" and "Colonization is violence." A group of pro-Israel students and faculty showed up to counter-protest. They held signs reading "Hamas's ISIS" and "Rape is not resistance." I spoke to students from each side about the conflict.
America and all other forces from the global north need to stop giving military aid to Israel and need to stop bolstering them and sparking more, conflict, stop, enraging them more. I think what also needs to happen is different parties need to come together and talk about peace agreements, especially ending the occupation of Israel, because you can have peace under oppression.
Are we going to be silent in the face of injustice? And to me, the answer is no. I think that you have people here who see injustice on both sides. So I think it's important for people on both sides of the aisle to be expressing what they view as being unjust.
Now, the pro-Israel group repeatedly asked UNC SJP to condemn Hamas's actions. Those requests were met with silence. In Chapel Hill, Stephen Schlink, Carolina Week.
Thank you, Stephen. We will follow this story as it continues.
And now from international to national controversy, students on UNC's campus make their voices heard. A big name in the movement against abortion on campus this week. Our very own Kristen Snyder shows us how the community students
Kristen Hawkins is the
responded.
president of Students for Life of America. Hawkins has gained attention with her podcast titled Explicitly Pro-Life and her speaking tour called I'm Coming for Your Abortion Access.
So the biggest goal for Kristen to come today is to introduce new perspectives to the abortion issue. And we want to show that abortion is not the only option for a woman in the case of an unplanned pregnancy.
At UNC Chapel Hill, her third stop on the tour, Hawkins focused on spreading her message at the pit. She welcomed students to debate her, and they did. UNC Democrats hosted a pro-choice party in response to her presence on campus.
And we wanted to have a counter event to celebrate reproductive rights and advocate for pro-choice policies in North Carolina.
Although Hawkins faces backlash, she believes it's important to continue to lead conversations that change minds about abortion.
Lives are literally on the line. When you're debating with someone about abortion, when you're talking to someone about abortion, I'm not debating just tax policy. I'm talking about human lives, innocent, vulnerable children, mothers who are being targeted by the abortion industry, whose lives are on the line.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kristen Snyder, Carolina Week.
Democrats we talked to called Hawkins' words dangerous rhetoric. Democrats on campus did not call it an abortion industry. They say it's a necessary reproductive right.
Millions of people have ADHD, according to Harvard. Without access to their medication, some have problems managing their lives. The Food and Drug Administration announced a shortage of Adderall and other ADHD medications last year. Dr. Anne Marie Jones says it's because of internet prescriptions of Adderall.
It kind of caused a cascading effect where we had a severe shortage of the medication. And due to that, people then switch to other formulations or other drugs completely. And now we have a shortage of those as a result of switching off Adderall.
When I'm on my medication, I can do tasks, and I can be like, hey, I want to complete this step, and then I will do it. When I'm not medicated, I want to do tasks, I want to get stuff done, but I don't.
UNC student Lily Hawkins was diagnosed with ADHD in the 3rd grade. She says that without her medication, she can't function.
We'll definitely be keeping her in our thoughts. The city of Durham found unsafe levels of lead in the soil at 5 of its parks, but the town of Chapel Hill says it's not worried about finding similar results. The city's findings came after Duke University's study found unsafe levels of lead in the soil of 3 parks last December. Daniel Richer, a professor of soil and forest ecology at Duke, says that the use of incinerators across North America could have left toxic chemicals in hundreds of parks, just like the parks in Durham.
Probably from 1885, when the first incinerator in America was opened in New York City, to the mid-60s. Perhaps half of the U.S. cities and Canadian cities burned trash and garbage, and without an appreciation for its danger.
In a statement, the Chapel Hill Parks and Recreation Department said that it does not routinely test for lead at parks, because there is no historical or environmental reason to do so.
UNC is the 13th largest research university in the U.S. Next week, it will celebrate its 5th University Research Week. The week will be packed with more than 60 events. Organizers say there are 2 main goals for Research Week: to highlight research across different disciplines and to inspire students in their own research.
And there's something for everybody, whether that's recognition for faculty receiving an award, or workshops for students who are interested in pursuing their own independent research activity, proposal development workshops, all sorts of things.
Dowdy said to engage more students, the office is partnered with Heal Life to make sure every featured event is a campus life experience, which satisfies a graduation requirement.
1 in 6 Americans who work full or part-time also report giving care for an elderly or disabled family member, partner, or friend.
Daniel Masterson has more on the unique bond that one of those pairings share.
Tucked away in Hillsborough, North Carolina, Paula Poe has been caring for her husband Raymond Williams since he had a stroke in 1999. When that diagnosis turned to dementia in 2018, Paula couldn't keep up.
I needed someone here to check on him sometime, to be here to socialize and get him water and make sure he's, has something to eat if he wants it.
Enter McKenna Graff. A third-year pre-nursing student at UNC, McKenna began working for a startup care company called Care Yaya. Through Care Yaya, she found Raymond, and their lives haven't been the same since.
But McKenna has been a godsend for Paula and for me. And as long as McKenna's here, Paula doesn't worry about me.
It's more, I don't feel like I'm coming to work when I come here. It's more like, I'm just like coming to hang out with Raymond.
McKenna helps Raymond any way she can, by getting him food or water, or helping him get to sleep. Doing this, McKenna found her way into Raymond's and Paula's little family. The help she provides is invaluable, and the companionship she brings is even more important. Raymond loves to relive his glory days as a NASCAR driver any chance he gets, and McKenna loves to hear all the stories.
That's me walking by.
With your hat on.
Yeah.
And it isn't just help at the house. Raymond and McKenna often like to get out and about, and sometimes they even end up at some unusual places.
Well, like I say, we go get pedicures and manicures and all the stuff.
It was just so funny at the nail salon because he's getting his feet done, but every 5 seconds he's moving his feet because the poor is tickling his feet.
Founder Neil Shaw created Care Yaya. He was inspired by his wife's battle with cancer and the feeling of helplessness he struggled with as a caretaker. he wanted to help people who desperately needed care. It gave him an idea.
There's a massive structural caregiver shortage, and society needs all the help it can get. So we were kind of trying to think, where are there underengaged populations who want to do caregiving but can't? And college students was top of mind.
Raymond and McKenna are a shining example of the power that home care can have on families everywhere. Students can get a real-world experience, and the people who need care get that help. And maybe both will find a new family along the way.
If I'd have had a daughter, I'd have wanted her to be like McKenna.
In Hillsboro, I'm Daniel Masterson, reporting.
You know, this is really a wonderful story, and my heart goes out to caretakers.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see there, it's a huge time commitment and truly noble work.
Yeah, McKenna says McKenna plans to continue working with Raymond Williams until she graduates in May of 2025.
Chapel Hill will begin work on a new affordable housing complex next summer, but that may not be enough to meet all of the community's needs. Some already in affordable housing units are struggling. Karen Antle lives in Kings Arms Apartments, a designated affordable community. She suffers from fibromyalgia, a chronic pain condition, but is still waiting to get disability. She pays $1,200 for her 2-bedroom apartment, which she shares with her son, Luke. A Chapel Hill grad, she said she moved back because she wanted to raise her son.
It's hard being poor in Chapel Hill. Like, I know, like when Luke would go for play dates, he'd go from our little apartment to like a McMansion. And that's hard for a kid to see how other people are living.
Antle has lived at Kings Arms Apartments for 8 years, and she said her rent goes up over 20% every year. But back on campus, you can still donate books to help support reading for kids across North Carolina. These boxes are set up across campus. They were set up as a part of the Knowledge for Brains K-12 book drive, put on by the UNC chapters of Delta Sigma Theta and Lambda Upsilon Lambda. While the drive itself is over, the boxes are still in place at the Carolina Latinx Center, Davis Library, the Student Union, and the Stone Center to accept donations for Book Harvest. Book Harvest is a nonprofit organization based in Durham. They support North Carolina children and families by providing books and reading support. According to organizers, the boxes will be collected after fall break, so if you'd like to donate, it's not too late.
So what kind of books are you reading these days?
I'm actually reading one about time travel, and I'm really looking forward to time traveling to fall break. So stick with us. When we come back, fall break starts tomorrow. But is it time for fall weather? Our CW meteorologist Nick Boynton joins us to fill you in on this weekend's weather. We'll be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. The writer behind 2 popular Netflix originals received a Distinguished Alumna Award from UNC. UNC alumna Jenny Han has taken over both streaming and YA novels, with hit Netflix adaptations of her To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy and spin-off XO Kitty, as well as Prime Video series The Summer I Turned Pretty. She wrote her first novel, Shug, from a prompt in Ruth Moose's writing children's literature class at Chapel Hill's Greenlaw Hall in 1998. The committee behind selecting Han's award credits her ability to create relatable and multifaceted characters of color. Throughout her works, Hahn has received the award as a part of the annual University Day celebration in Memorial Hall.
She wrote and wrote and wrote, and there was just really no stopping her.
We're thrilled to have her back here and honoring her when we did today.
Speaking of green law, fall break starts tomorrow, and we asked some of our fellow Tar Heels, what are they going to be up to this weekend?
I'm going to make a road trip down to Clemson to visit one of my friends for the weekend.
I'm going home to Charleston with a bunch of my friends, and we're going to go to the beach and go to fun restaurants and stuff.
I'm visiting my dad at first, and then I'm going to Charleston with some friends to go down to the beach.
I think Pride's the weekend, so hopefully we're going to do some Pride stuff.
I am going out to the mountains with some friends for 3 days, and then on Sunday I'm going to be seeing my dad perform at a singing competition.
Well, with 2 days for fall break, I plan to get some rest. How about you?
Absolutely. I'm going to be staying here too and enjoying everything that Chapel Hill has to offer.
Oh, yes.
But clearly students are taking advantage of the time off to go out of town. But if you are staying in the area like me, we should check in with CW meteorologist Nick Boynton to see if the sun will be shining during our fall break adventures.
Yeah, and of course, with fall break coming up here over the next couple of days, we're going to want to check out how that weather is looking. And right now, it's looking pretty good for you. High pressure over the East Coast sticking with us here over the next several days. That's going to mean really cool conditions, but also very dry conditions. So if you are having to make those plans on your Thursday and Friday, it's looking A-OK. As you step out the door right now, though, 65 degrees at 12 o'clock. Only going to warm up a little bit here to the upper 60s by 3 and 6 p.m. Really staying fairly cool for this time of year. So certainly lovely weather, no rain to talk about right now. But if you are headed to the fair here, as you finish up your classes here in the evening hours, 7 p.m. looking at 65 degrees. 9 p.m. we shoot right on down to 56 degrees. As that sun goes down, those temperatures drop with it. And with that, you're going to want to bring those sweaters, any kind of jackets to the fair because it's going to be a chilly one as you head out to the fair after the fair is all finished up. 11 p.m., 53 degrees. So definitely very chilly as you head out finishing up your fair activities. But as you can see here, on Friday, we do have that front pushing closer to our area, and that's going to bring the chance for that rainfall as we head towards your Friday. You can see that here with our Futurecast, that rainfall kind of pivoting up through the area here on Friday. The best chance for rain probably going to be around 12 p.m. to around 4 p.m. So that afternoon, late afternoon time period. So that's when you're going to see the messiest weather here on your Friday. Probably a good day to just kind of stay inside, hang out with everyone inside for your second day of fall break. But you can see after that front passes on by, we keep our temperatures right on in the 60s. So we're going to be feeling really like fall here over the next couple of weeks as we keep getting these reinforcing shots of cooler air. Certainly going to start changing those leaf colors to some pretty colors here over the next couple of weeks. Our 5-day forecast, though, Wednesday and Thursday, absolutely gorgeous weather, upper 60s, low 70s for your high temperatures. And then, of course, that front comes through on Friday, bringing us that messy weather here for your afternoon hours. Probably a good day to stay inside. But then again, Saturday and Sunday, getting cool, upper 60s, low to mid 40s here for your low time temperatures. So again, that fall chill is really in the air. Kelly, Keisha, back to you guys.
Thank you, Nick. I'm not really sure how I feel about cold weather, but the one thing I love is fall fashion, so I better be seeing some fun sweaters when I'm walking around campus.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, when we come back, it's been an exciting season for Carolina athletics. We'll tell you all about Carolina's football, 6th game, and 6th win.
And as Nick mentioned, the State Fair is just down the road. Our Christian Phillips went to the fair this week and is here to share with us a story as old as the fair itself. We'll be right back.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Week.
UNC football is now 6-0. Let's go Heels. Let's head over to Sarah Choi for some standout players of the game. Sarah?
Thanks, Keisha. After taking down the U, 4 UNC football players will be taking home some conference hardware. Cedric Gray won co-linebacker of the week after securing 10 tackles, a recovery, and an interception against Miami. On offense, Drake May, Omarion Hampton, and Tez Walker also earned Player of the Week honors for their respective positions. May threw for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns, 3 of which were brought in by Walker, and Hampton was just 3 yards short of his second 200-yard game of the season. After Saturday's loss to number 4 Wake Forest, the 14th-ranked UNC men's soccer team looked to bounce back against William & Mary last night in the non-conference finale. The first half was a back-and-forth fight for possession with only 5 total shots taken. A few good saves by the goalies, but neither team could take the advantage and get on the board. The second half mirrored the first half as the Tar Heels only had 3 shots on goal the entire evening. Neither team was able to capitalize on fouls, and the Heels ended in yet another tie to bring their record to 6-2-4.
Having a day off will be good, where we get to have our minds off, reflect on the positive, but also all the negative that came from those past few games, and just look into what we can do better as a team.
The Heels hope to get back on the right track on senior night on Sunday against Louisville. The NCAA and AP just released the 2023-2024 preseason rankings for basketball. The Tar Heel men have some ground to cover after last season's tough run. Both teams are settled in the top 25, with the men at 19 and the women at 16. Women's basketball senior Deja Kelly is on the watch list for the Nancy Lieberman Award, given to the nation's top point guard. This will be the second straight season Kelly's name appears on the watch list after she led Carolina with more than 16 points per game last year and was the Heels' floor general, ranking 9th in assist to turnover ratio. Kelly enters the season fresh off a stint with Team USA in Mexico, where she secured a silver medal in the 2023 FIBA Women's AmeriCup. Fan voting for the award opens Friday. The women's tennis team is back in action at the Tuning Tennis Center this week. 7 Tar Heels will be competing in the singles portion along with 4 doubles teams. After the disappointing showing at All-Americans, players such as sophomore Reese Brantmeyer and junior Carson Tangalig are looking to take the event to secure a spot in Fall Nationals. Qualifying starts tomorrow and the event runs through Monday.
Our last tournament for the fall, so just trying to end on a high note, and only 2 players in singles can move on if you win your draw, so just trying to get quality matches.
Tennis's Fiona Crawley just doesn't stop winning. The ACC and ITA National Player of the Year won her first professional singles title on Sunday. Crawley defeated Duke Blue Devil Chloe Beck to get the win with scores of 7-5 and 6-1. On her way to the trophy, the Phenom took down 4 other players as well. We won't be back on Friday, so tune into Sports Extra on Monday for a breakdown of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
Sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Like Nick mentioned, the State Fair is in full swing right now for its 170th year.
I'm very excited about this part of it.
too.
In this week's Covering Carolina, our Christian Phillips joins us in studio to bring us the story of a family whose business is as old as the fair itself. Christian?
That's right, Kelly and Keisha. It's finally mid-October, and with it, thousands of hungry visitors flooding the fairgrounds in Raleigh, looking for some good times and good food. This location is the first place many of them will stop. After all, a trip wouldn't be complete without one of their foot-long hot dogs.
They say the more things change, the more they stay the same. The North Carolina State Fair has changed a lot since its inaugural year in 1853. One thing that's been a constant, though, the family running the food stand under the iconic yellow and white tent. It's Charlie Barefoot and Sons, and there's no need for blinking lights or loud music to draw customers under their tent. The smells, their reputation, and of course, the food does that just fine.
You ever come here before?
All the time. This is my first stop.
Well, I had a hot dog, but I already inhaled it.
Charlie Barefoot started his food stand back in 1949 as a way to supplement his income as a farmer to support his growing family. Billy Barefoot, Charles's youngest of 3 sons, now runs the stand. He's worked here since he was 10. It's easy for him to talk about, well, just about anything when it comes to the stand.
Customers that come here just for the Italians, and we have customers that come for just the Philly cheesesteaks. But most of all is the hot dogs.
The one thing he struggles to talk about, one of Billy's brothers passed away in 1997. His other brother just retired last year.
So it's different for me this year because I'm here by myself. We've always had each other's crutch, you know, and this year I don't have a crutch.
What makes it a little easier, he's doing exactly what his father did, bringing in his children to work the stand.
I've been doing it for about 23 years.
And I've been doing about 15.
And, like many at the fair,
Favorite food?
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
the State Fair's motto has traditionally been, nothing can be finer. And that's certainly true under the yellow and white striped tent of Charlie Barefoot and Sons.
The State Fair will run until this Sunday, so if you haven't been yet, you still have a little time, especially with fall break starting today. We do have a couple of recommendations for you if you are going later this week. First, wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of walking at the fair. Second, bring cash. Lots of vendors are cash only, including Charlie Barefoot and Sons. And there are ATMs at the fair, but they charge a premium to withdraw from them. Finally, do not pay for parking. There's plenty of free parking around the fairgrounds, especially in the parking lots by Carter Finley Stadium. And if you do go, have fun and be safe.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm glad you gave me those reminders because I'm actually headed to the fair tonight, and now you've made me super hungry.
Okay, so did you try the hot dogs?
Oh, absolutely. And of course, when you do have the hot dog, it's got to be all the way with chili, onions, and cheese.
Okay, and what about the burgers? I saw that on there. Are those burgers good? Have you had one?
I haven't had the burgers yet. They were actually making those for breakfast. They were working at 7 in the morning when they get there to start working.
Nice.
And what about those fried Oreos? Please tell me you.
I haven't had them this year, but they are delicious. People
All
have been telling
right.
me.
I'll be sure to save some for you when I go tonight. You guys have made me absolutely starving. So thank you for that story, Christian.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.
I actually am starving now.
Yes, I can.